and purpose into action. I am your host, Mark Intrican, founder of the Achieving Unity Leadership System, available at www.achievingunity.com, which is dedicated to all leaders, personally and professionally, in improving their lives through encouraging, inspiring, and including others. We must remember that unity is not a soft skill. It is a leadership discipline, one that we all must follow. I'm honored to welcome Theresa Szczurek today to the Achieving Unity Leadership System podcast. Theresa brings a powerful combination of leadership, technology, and real-world experience, helping organizations turn vision into clear, measurable results. She has a unique ability to connect strategy, people, and execution in a way that creates lasting impact. This is going to be a thoughtful and practical conversation about alignment, leadership, and what it truly takes to move from ideas to results. And as we listen to Theresa and we navigate that division, frustrations, and change, we're invited to not just see the challenges that we could face, but the potential that exists when people are encouraged, inspired, and included in building a better future together, achieving unity. But first, before we dive into this insightful discussion, let me briefly introduce my company, Reality Focused Dynamics, where it all began. As you can see on the first slide, what we talk about is real conversations for leaders that are navigating division, frustration, and change. And we see that often today. It's one of the things that we want to work on in everything that we do going forward. What we mean by achieving unity. What is unity? That is the process of us working hard to be together in what we do. Because leadership today feels harder sometimes than it should. Disconnecting from each other, whether it be at home, or couples, relationships, at work, socially, that disconnection is growing. Politics, the news, frustration is draining people, draining teams. Good intentions are colliding with real world pressures. And some of those pressures we're creating ourselves. We need to get back together, back into achieving unity. But we must remember, unity is not just a soft skill. It's not just being nice to each other. It's not just holding the door open. It is a true leadership strategy that we can use to build what we're doing with others going forward. What we mean by achieving unity is to encourage that progress without enabling dysfunction. What that means is we're not just shaking our head up and down. We see meetings sometimes where people are just shaking their heads, and they're not grasping a word of the communication and collaboration we're bringing together. We want that. We want to work toward that. We want to inspire action without forcing agreement. We want that communication. We want that collaboration. Just working together in what we do, and we always want to include voices while maintaining accountability. Want to include everyone that's involved, but make sure that all of us are accountable and responsible for our actions. We want to work together in building better businesses, better lives, and a better world, one conversation at a time. Again, I am your host, founder of the Reality Focused Dynamics and Achieving Unity Leadership System. I work with leaders, teams, and families navigating conflict, change, and that complexity that we see more and more, helping us all move forward with clarity, unity, and sustainable action. And we want to be focused on what we do. And that is, again, is my phone number, 303-FOCUSED, 303-362-8733, but it's FOCUSED on your dial. But let's talk about focused a little bit more. What does focused mean? Well, we look at that F, and that's in facilitate. That means make things work, get things together. Have you ever facilitated a ball team? Have you ever facilitated just any meeting? Well, sometimes there's tough conversations that build trust in those meetings. We don't want to shut those out. We want to facilitate those going forward. And when we say facilitate, we want to facilitate that on. That's where the O comes in, common ground. We say common ground will be a shared purpose. Us all communicating, collaborating together for that shared purpose going forward. And we want to be clear. That's where the C comes in. Communication, collaboration, and agreements. We'll make sure that we understand and that we agree with what's next. Because then when we agree, we become unified. That's where the U comes in. We want to have action across differences. Doesn't matter about any issues that we have, any prejudice we may have, from color to age, to education levels, to income. We want to be able to come together across those differences because then we can become sustainable, which is where the S comes in. We look at results that last, sustainable results that we work with, because when we have those, we can then begin execution. That's where the E comes in. Consistent and responsible action. And action is so important. It is not just words written down, it's just taking those words to that next step. And we do take that next step, that responsible action. There comes the delivery at the end of focused. We inspire growth. We inspire that lasting change, and we become focused, reality focused. Then we grow forward in everything that we do. So again, remember, call me 303 focused, 303 362 8733. Let's promote that clear, unified, sustainable action starting now, all of us. Break out to explore my coaching, my courses, my workshops, or speaking engagements to promote that unified leadership. In achievingunity.com, we've talked about 303 focused. Achieving unity is the path, that path to stronger relationships. Again, that could be just a couple, could be a team, could be a family, could be socially, stronger relationships all around because of inspired leadership and lasting change. Change many times is short term. When we turn it into long term, then inspired change becomes an improvement. So again, in this world of uncertainty, don't forget, protection is not a luxury. So if we're needing extra help, reach out. Be there for you as a coach. And if you ever need legal help, there's ways to do that, and it's affordable. Reach through me. Let me help you there also. And now for our upcoming conversation. This again is a weekly podcast. I want you here every week. I hope you want to be here every week. Next week, we have Mitch Creighton. He is a travel agent and an excellent one. He does more than just help you with travel. He helps you make memories, not regrets. And we talk about communication that opens up more and more in the ways that we travel. Come in next week. Let's listen to Mitch and find out more about that. Next, Mila Johansson, talking about the Cinderella monologues. Her mother was involved in a lot of the benefits, a lot of the growth in women's rights today. You're going to be amazed. You come back on that May 6th and listen to Mila and talk about what her mother was involved in, her grandmother was involved in. It's excellent. Then on May 13th, Rachel Christina, that intuitive edge for women. This all of May is all about moms and mothers and women. It's our Mother's Day month. So come check in every week in what we do. Then on 5/20, Mindy Green, create the harmonious home you've always imagined for the moms, the mothers, and parents. I only want to say that because every family has a mother and a father to begin with. That's what we want to keep growing in what we do. So come back each and every week. Next week with Mitch, then all of May with the moms and mothers, all of June with the fathers. October, we're going to be talking about domestic violence and ending domestic violence through better understanding. Would you like to contact me? Sometimes the easiest way is through a QR code. Take a picture of this. contact me anytime. Of course, you can call 303-FOCUS, go to this QR code, go to my site, achievingunity.com, markentrican.com. Let's connect. Let's all work together, achieving unity, building the better world for everyone going forward. And now, what's coming next? It's the QR codes to get hold of Theresa. There they are. Learn more about Theresa. On the left, you'll find her YouTube. That's her podcast. I'm sorry, her QR code. On the right, you'll find out more about her Facebook, and her email's there at the bottom right. And take a picture of this page. You've got a second here. Go and take a picture of this page. Remember it. Go ahead and reach out to Theresa in any way you can, in every way that you might need to. And we're going to find out more about why you might want to coming up next. Let me introduce you to Theresa. We're definitely excited to welcome Theresa. She's in AI. Who's not using AI anymore? It's just come about us. It's gone from an automated intelligence to an artificial intelligence to what's coming next. She's in technology. She's a cybersecurity leader. She's a former state CIO and CEO of Technology and Management Solutions, who helps organizations navigate innovation, risk, and growth in a rapidly evolving digital world. Just think about how much digital is coming about each and every day. Drawing on decades of expertise across global tech, companies, startups, and large-scale digital transformation, Theresa provides practical insight, a practical insight that we can all understand and work with in aligning technology strategy with real, true business impact. Her work empowers leaders to embrace AI with clarity and confidence, reduce risk, and build future-ready organizations that are both innovative and purpose-driven. Let me introduce you to Ms. Theresa Szczurek. Theresa, how are you today?
Oh, fantastic.
Uh,
Thanks for having me. It's wonderful to be here.
I am glad to have you here. I'm just so impressed by what you do. I'm heavy in technology, and I've been doing it for so long now, and sometimes it seems to just become a standard. But to talk to experts like you bring so much more into what I can do using AI. So if you don't mind, can we take a few minutes, introduce yourself a little bit, tell us about what you do, how you got to where you are today?
Sure. Well, thank you again for having me. And I'm loved your introduction because I feel so aligned with it. So, hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Theresa Szczurek. I'm an innovation catalyst. I started as a Bell Labs engineer, moved to an AT&T product line manager, then went on to do three tech ventures where I founded,
Oh,
funded, grew, and exited those ventures. I was also fortunate to do a 2-year tour of duty on Governor Polis's cabinet here in the state of Colorado as his first chief information officer. So, since selling my last company about a year ago, I am now with my firm, Technology and Management Solutions, where I help organizations and leaders grow to new heights in profit, productivity, and passion. And yes, love to have some fun along the way. And so I combined a lot of my learnings with learnings of other colleagues along the way. And we're going to talk a little bit about it, but a lot of it is in my book, Pursuit of Passionate Purpose. And we'll talk more about that. Now, by
I'm
the
looking
way, you
forward to
can
it.
find me, my email address, the best one, not the one that was presented before, is tms@tmsworld.com. So my website is tmsworld.com.
Let me put that in the chat real quick because I saw that also as I was going up to it. Again, that is tms@tmsworld.com.
Yes,
Thought that
thank
was
you.
it. So you bet. Put that in the chat. Thank you so much. Teresa, you had such an exciting life. It's to work in the state of Colorado. Governor Polis, good friend of mine. I like what a lot of the things that he does. In politics, of course, we all have our different perceptions on some things, but he is a great person to work with in so many ways. And that's so awesome to see that you helped along the way, especially in the chief information officer. That's it has improved so much over the years. So thank you for that.
It
Let's
was a
start like
big job, definitely.
I can only imagine. Well, let's start on the fun side. Let's talk about that sunflower spirit. I see when you talk about that. I see you have one
Right.
on your
My
shoulder as well.
right, I have
It's
some sunflowers behind me, sunflower here on my lapel, a sunflower on the cover of my book. And yeah, I've always been eternally optimistic and upbeat. And it was when I published my book, Pursuit of Passionate Purpose, through Wiley. They came back with a book cover which has the sunflower on it. And I got this aha, yes, that is perfect. I actually use it as my Girl Scout camp name, Sunflower. I have a Girl Scout troop.
oh,
And
wow. You're a busy person.
I do. I think the busiest people are the ones you ask and they can do more. And when I was doing my research for the book, I discerned certain key traits that successful people, passionate pursuers, as I call them, have, and they align with the word sunflower. So later we can dive in and I can tell you more about that.
Oh, please, let's hear more.
Okay. Well, when you think about what helps somebody find and then pursue their passionate purpose so that they can deliver extraordinary results, I ask people certain in my extensive research study what um, about their life and what worked and what didn't. And so those people, effective passionate pursuers, strengthen their sunflower traits. S is they have self-confidence and esteem. So they build full trust in themselves and in others. U is unwavering curiosity. They continue to learn, explore, and discover. The N is never quit. Maintain integrity of effort and a strong work ethic. And then F stands for fervor, another word for my favorite word, passion, which fuels your pursuits, with this intense passion. L
Right.
stand if you I can go through. L stands for living the pursuit of passionate purpose process, where we can talk a little bit more about that. O is optimism, having a hopeful, upbeat disposition, like a sunflower. Wholeness is unifying all aspects of your nature, your head, your heart, and your hands. Energy, E, is increased focus and use of your energy so that you can do more. And then regeneration, R, is to be resilient and revive and produce again. So
I like that.
nurture your sunflower traits.
I like that. And what I enjoy about the acronyms is they help us remember them because we may not remember every character every time, because sunflower is a pretty long one,
Yeah.
but you can remember the parts of it. That when you see a sunflower, remember that positive attitude, that
Mm,
optimism that can be there. And let me touch on that for a minute, because that's one of the things, Teresa, that I see a lot. People don't have that optimism.
mhm,
There seem to be a lot of people that are a little bit on the negative side, the finding wrong side. Do you
mhm.
touch on that a little bit sometimes?
Certainly. I like that song, Look to the Sunny Side, always to the sunny side. And so it is true. There are, if you really focus on it, challenges, concerns, things that can pull you down. However, on the other side, there are so many things that are good in the world, so many things that are good in people. And if we focus, like sunflowers who turn their head to the sun, if we focus on the good and the optimistic, more of that will be attracted to us. And so I like to use the attraction strategy. It's one of the 6 strategies in my book. And I think that can help people retain this optimism.
I think that idea is so good because, as you're mentioning, where does the sunflower turn? Toward the sun, toward growth. And I think most of us have heard that the more you smile, the more the people around you smile. So when we're talking about achieving unity, which is, of course, what I work on, that ability to smile, help others smile in unity, it brings us all together with a little bit of a better attitude, right?
Yes. And I actually have something I use called the smile monitor. When you are assessing progress and seeing how things are going, ask yourself a very simple question. Am I smiling or am I sighing? See, it's really simple. If you're sighing, this is a long, noisy exhalation where you're trying to get rid of stress. And that is a sign that something needs to change. You don't need to give up on your passionate purpose, but you need to make some changes in order to move more towards the, smiling.
That's true. And why not smile more? Why not be happy? As we've talked, and it's so good to be good friends with you because it helps us build on some of these ideas and
Yes,
help others pick up on that small exercise of smiling. And
it's
some
a
people,
choice.
it is. Thank you. Please go ahead. That's
Yeah, I think that people need to realize they have a choice in life on doing good, or, not so good, but to do good to help make the world a better place. And actually, that's one of the reasons I love being a Girl Scout. I'm a lifelong Girl Scout, and I still have
wow.
a Girl Scout troop of high schoolers. Our goal is to build girls and young women with courage, character, and confidence who makes the world a better place. And so that S in sunflower, self-confidence, self-esteem, is so important to feel good about yourself and then use that to be of service and to help the world.
And who can't do that? Everybody can. Every one of us, by just taking that smile forward, not
Yes.
being so upset, not letting that frustration take over. And another one of my acronyms that I work with, of course, is ANGER,
Mm-hmm.
ANGER,
Mm-hmm.
actions not gaining effective results.
Mm-hmm.
Why do people get angry? Why do I get angry? And I tell you, my sweetheart can tell you, when I'm dealing with Microsoft in my system, I sometimes Microsoft aggravates me more than anything. But at least I can smile later, but be able
Yes.
to handle that anger, be able to manage that anger because actions not gaining effective results. What good did I do
Mm-hmm.
myself or anyone through that anger?
Exactly. Well, that's like why one of my strategies I've discerned through my research and life is something called the pack strategy. And in this, you pack, like you wouldn't go on a trip or pursue your passionate purpose without a bag or a backpack or something. So, what you want to do is pack and bring along the energizers, and you want to unpack those things that put you down. And so, smiling, energizing. You want to pack that smile. And it's true, it's contagious. When you're around people, surrounding yourself with good people who are smiling, it's contagious. And then you can help
It
others do
is.
more of that too.
It is because we all have instances, there's no doubt, and that's one of the things I always think about is that I don't know what their trip, their drive, or however they got to wherever we're together how it was. I mean, there's so much road rage, so
Mm.
many people that's in a rush. They've got to be there 2 seconds before you for whatever reason. And of course, that causes frustration. And then if you're drinking your coffee or maybe your soda or your
Yeah.
Dairy Queen Blizzard, whatever you might be, and you might spill some on you. And then that just it can be so irritating. But on the other side of that, so what? It
Hmm.
happened. They have a reason. Let's let it go
Hmm.
because some people say that, well, it's hard to let go. Well, it may be, but if you've got something else to hold on to,
Hmm.
it's easier to let that go. And if we can hold on to that, that optimism that you talk
Hmm.
about, those smiles, can't that help us grow better and faster and more with other people?
Hmm. Well, you talk about letting go. Another one of my 6 strategies in the pursuit of passionate purpose process is called the allowing strategy. And basically, this is where you realize that you can be clear on what you want, but allow how you get it to unfold. So letting go, surrendering, non-resistance, lack of control, acceptance, or equanimity is so important then to allow the how you get things to unfold.
And let me have a little bit of fun with you right there. On the fun
Okay.
side, what in the world? What people don't know what they want? I mean, oh, come on. We don't everybody just know everything they want? Aren't they happy with where they are?
Well, it's interesting. There are three categories for people. There is those people who I call passionate pursuers who know themselves, their passion, they've connected it with a goal, a purpose, and they're pursuing it. So until they assess progress and make some mid-course corrections. So there's some people who are passionate pursuers, but there's other people who are seekers. They don't really know what they want. And then there's third people who are in-betweeners, who are maybe taking a little break from their passionate purpose. And so, one thing I say is you can't get what you want till you know what you want. And you don't know what you want until you know who you are. So the whole thing starts with finding out who you are, getting to know yourself. That's where you find your passion by aligning your values with your gifts. And in the alignment of those two, you will find your passion. And that's so key in then being able to figure out what you want.
That is so true. And it's amazing how many people aren't sure. And how many of us allow someone else to guide our actions
Hmm.
when that person is not necessarily even their best friend in a lot of ways either. It's
Right.
why did I? Why would I listen to them
Hmm.
if they haven't, for whatever reason, proven themselves somehow? But we'll listen to people in public,
Yes.
listen to people on Facebook,
Mhm.
listen to people on LinkedIn, which are good. There's many, many good people out there,
Yes.
but there's a lot of people. There's too many people that are just passing on other rumors. And that
Mm.
ability for us to listen and learn going forward makes a
Yeah.
huge difference because that's when we find out what are our boundaries, right?
Hmm.
Because that's the only way we can define who we are is if
Hmm.
we have our own positive values, correct?
That's right. And values are so important. Ask yourself, what is important to you? I did this at the beginning of my research study. I asked people, what is meaningful to you? And it boiled down for most people to two things: contribution, a way to make a contribution, and connections, deep, caring, meaningful connections with yourself, with others, with a higher power. And so the connection is what I call what you get from a passionate, excuse me, contribution is what you get from a passionate purpose. And then connections are so important along the way. And it's important to know your values so that will tell you what is meaningful.
I love that. And let's talk about contribution for a second because I am big as I build all these acronyms. I want to
Yes.
make sure that they're understood. And when we talk about contribution, we're not talking about going to your checkbook. We're talking about giving help, knowledge, suggestions, support.
Hmm.
That is a contribution as much as anything, and
Hmm.
many times worth so much more than
Oh,
money.
yeah. It's so true. I mean, everybody has sort of a unique way that they can contribute. Some people, it may be, through their efforts, their service. Other people, it may be through sharing their knowledge, others through their love. But how can you make, and I ask myself this question a lot, how can I make a meaningful difference in the world? How can I continue to contribute? And one of my things, my passionate purpose, is to help others find and fulfill their passionate purpose. Because in that way, we can be, helping make the world a better place.
And let me talk about that for a second too, because so many times say, well, the world's too big. Well,
Hmm.
every world is built with individual people.
Hmm.
And if you can influence one other person in a positive nature, back to the smiles. If you
Yes.
smile, somebody else can smile. You have started a good step
Hmm.
forward. So if you just help one person in the world,
Yes.
maybe they'll help another person, and maybe they'll help another person. And it sounds too simple to some, but it works. Because how many times have we been even at a movie theater or at an event or maybe down at the coffee shop and we hear somebody say something, attracts our attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then later we may repeat what we heard at a coffee shop that we don't know how true it is or where it might have come from, but it might build a positive thought within us
Hmm.
that we do or can share forward with that next person, which reaches out to their world. So then our worlds can connect.
I love what you're saying. And I have this goal every day of doing some service to help others. Like, for instance, I was at a meeting yesterday, happy hour, and one of the people was looking for a place to hold sort of a community training program. And I was able to connect her to um, a an organization that would allow them to meet for free. And so it's really good every day in some way. How can you use your gifts in line with your values, that is where your passion come from, in a way, to help? And it can be something small, like just giving a smile. We don't know how we might be able to help others. And even a smile like that can make a difference.
It can. That is so true. And let me just kind of play with those words again back to contribution. Wasn't that connection that you gave that other person a
Yes,
contribution to help
yes.
them going forward? So these contributions, again, they're not money coming out of your pocket. We're not talking about somebody passing a plate for you to put money into. That connection right there you help that other person with
Mhm.
probably relieve some frustrations they may have had within themselves, right?
Oh, yeah.
That
Well,
little
and you asked the
contribution.
question, you asked the question earlier. You said, well, some people may not know what they want, and, how do they find it? And sometimes, and there's a four-stage process I use called the pursuit of passionate purpose process. I call it the Szczurek process because I want people
I
to
like that.
remember my name. But with this process, you find your passion, connect it with a meaningful purpose, pursue that purpose with a plan, with the right people until you make progress. And so in line with that, you might ask, well, how can I um, find my passion, find my purpose? Sometimes you can jump on somebody else's passionate purpose and explore it, find out if it's a match. It may resonate with you. And if not, jump off, go try something else.
And that right there, that jump off, what does it bring about? Fear. Why
Mm,
does that fear come in there? And that's why I've trademarked my own little fear definition, false evidence about reality. And
mm,
that's some of the things that we don't understand. And that jumping off to do something else, we're so set in the
mm-hmm,
ways of yesterday, of a culture. Whoa, if I step out, I might get out of a line. Well, that's one of the things that we need to release and let go of right there, that that's okay, as you're saying, to go ahead, make the jump,
mm-hmm.
make that step. Who is it going to hurt?
Well, fear, when I did my research, was something that a lot of people carry around, even the most
Mhm.
successful people, along with self-doubt. And so one of the things we want to do is unpack it using the pack strategy from our lives. Now, there are times when fear is appropriate. I remember I'm a whitewater rafter and I, will, and kayaker. And there are times in terms of big waves when it's like, whoa, this is a little bit beyond me, and so sometimes you get messages of fear and you need to listen to them and take action and get out of there. But too often, it's just this broken record in your mind. And so, one of the things I suggest people do is set up a positive feedback loop. And so let's say you have some fear that might not be rational. You might take a little baby step and try something and see if you survive. And if you do, pat yourself on the back, give yourself some positive feedback, and then say, oh, yeah, I'm going to take another little baby step. And so this set up a positive feedback loop, and that can break this mindset of being overpowered by self-doubt, by fear.
I like that. And I love the way you use mindset. But what's the difference between fear and nervous?
Well, being anxious or nervous, there's I think it's a level of extreme. You can be nervous or anxious, get some little buzz before you might speak or whatever. And I think fear is one end of a continuum, right? And actually, some anxiety or nervousness is really helpful because
It
it
is.
can keep you on your toes, it can wake you up, it can make you be the best you can be. And I had a really good friend who was really good. Her daughter was a really good piano player. And, she won awards and she ended up not continuing the pursuit to be a professional pianist. And when asked, she would say, "Well, I would get really nervous, and and I didn't realize this. Later I said, "Well, that nervousness is okay. It's good.
It
You need
is.
to be with it, maybe, and then move through it."
I agree because nervousness provides the trigger that you need to do something. You need to make that step. You need to go
Mm,
that step. You need to do maybe more preparation, maybe a
yes,
little bit more learning.
yes.
Fear is a block. Fear
Hmm.
stops you, even though it could be false evidence about reality, because yes, you can do a little bit more. Don't be
Hmm.
afraid of it. They say, well, I'm afraid of dogs. Well, there are some dogs that are going to be large dogs, perhaps, that could bite, but to be afraid of dogs, that's a nervousness, to be prepared, you can probably see, I just got bit by a dog just down the street.
Oh
But it was
no.
a playful bite. The dog was
Okay.
mostly wanting to play with me. That was
Uh,
just, it was a big dog, and there's the boxer, what are they called, type, and it didn't know any better. And the dog can't ask questions. The owners have to be able to train the dog,
mhm,
but I couldn't be afraid. I wouldn't be able to do my
mhm,
walks in the morning.
mhm,
I'd be nervous and prepared,
mhm.
but I was petting the dog when he just kind of jumping up and bit me, thinking it was being nice to me, thinking that's what I wanted. For whatever reason, I had to tell him, no, that's not what I wanted. But
Well, you're talking about these signals that you get. Now, you froze there for a little while, Mark. So I didn't hear
oh,
everything you said, but I did want to say this is one of the reasons I am an executive coach. I help um, entrepreneurs, business owners, CEOs, and others in their life explore, what problems they may have. One of them might be fear, and then we explore ways to move beyond that. And rather than just a traditional coach, I'm a certified lifebound coach, but I also
congratulations.
thank you. I like to share um, ways not only for people to learn from inside themselves, but then also will share some of my learnings along, along life's journey. So that's a way that I can be of service.
Great. I'm sorry if I went, like you said, kind of froze there for a moment. But that's one of the things, and I'm a life coach. I'm not certified you are, and I don't have a doctorate. Congratulations on your doctorate as
Oh,
well.
thank you. Thank you.
But that's what I work a lot of times with are the people that have been technical, as I have in the past, and breaking over into that management positions.
Ah,
And they do have that fear because
mm,
they are so into the technical world that
hmm
it's hard to relinquish some of that knowledge, and they have that slight fear,
hmm
nervousness of going into the management side, that leadership side. And that's what I want to do is to help them get beyond that fear and be
hmm
able to open it up and ask more questions. Because as you mentioned about earlier, for us to be able to know who we are and
Yes.
what we are,
hmm
have we asked ourselves those questions? Do you go through that in any of your principles or your
Oh,
processes? Good.
absolutely. And, even in my own experience, I started off technical and then moved into the um, business leadership side with my goal being to bring people and technology together in harmony. And so, see, I had originally been dominated by my head. So many engineers are, the rational, logical thinker. And I was yearning for more of my heart, the creative feeler side to come out. And so it was the balance of the head and the heart in line with using the hands in a whole way that I think helps us go from being ordinary people to being extraordinary. And so, yeah, I think there's so much to be said for what you're talking about, Mark, and what I'm saying, because people side are the most important research. You can have the resource, most important asset. You can have the best technology in the world, but if it sits on the shelf and it's not used by people, then it's worthless. And so that's even with my AI work, I help companies um, figure out how to successfully implement AI at the enterprise level in order to produce ROI. And but you cannot take the human out of AI. And some people are fearful. Oh, I'm going to lose my job. Oh, AI is going to take over. But it's just a tool. And if you see it that way, you can help use it as a tool to do things quicker, faster, better.
I so agree with you, and I use 6 different AIs. I've got them; they pop up automatically on my Chrome when it comes up. And I
Oh,
tell people who are afraid, who say that AI is going to take my job. I says, the only time AI will take your job is if you don't know how to use AI. And that's what's most important. That
Right.
knowledge about what AI is and how it can be used, and I help train people, probably
Mm-hmm.
not to the level that you do on the AI, but how you can use it and how you can actually talk with it to have a conversation with AI to help understand, because
Mm-hmm.
knowledge is not power. It's
Mm-mm.
the ability to use that knowledge, take
Yes.
that next step going forward, right?
Well, this is why in the sunflower traits, I mentioned you as unwavering curiosity, where you dive in and you learn and you discover. And with AI or with any other innovations, that's what we need to do is continue learning, and let some of these tools, augment, but to realize that they're only as good as the prompts or that we give them.
I like the way you say that. Only as good as the prompt that we give them. Why do people not want to learn more?
Well, it's a really good question. I I am so hungry for learning. It's almost a foreign question because I'm like addicted to it. That's why
Mhm.
I've gotten all these degrees and keep getting, more and reading more books because I love it. It brings out other parts in life. It may be, and people are different. There's different learning ways, and organizations need to have learning systems, like especially people training people with regards to the cybersecurity risks so that they don't do something stupid, which humans are actually the biggest risk with regards to security. And so, yeah, I think that all people have the capacity to learn, but some will like learning. Like I love learning from others. I love visual learning. And, so there's different kinds of learning. And if you're having trouble um, embracing learning, experiment, discover, try different ways.
I'm with you 100% because there's too many times we have listened to our culture, the people around us from the time we're young till we grow up to get to school.
Hmm.
And somebody has said, Johnny said this, Janie said that, Susie said this, Sammy said that, and we let it sink in. And instead of asking more questions to learn, somehow we have been put into the point that it doesn't matter if I learn because here's the situation. And many times that's just not true. There are exceptions. I mean, there are some, you've been a doctor, diff, more about that, but there are people who have limited learning capabilities. There's no doubt about it. But for the majority of us, for us just to ask those questions, something else that
Hmm.
I teach is listening.
Oh,
Our
yes.
ability to listen is so strong in what we do, which takes back to that optimism, and which is the favorite character in Sunflower that I love so much. What
Hmm.
you're talking about, ability for us to learn and know more, be more optimistic, have that
Hmm.
confidence, right?
Yes.
That you spoke of. And too many people that they think, well, this is who I am. I'm homeless. I'm this. I'm that.
Mm.
When they could be so much more if they just opened up that door and relinquished that fear.
Hmm. Well, and I think it's sort of responsibility for others to help, surrounding yourself by people who can help you is so important. I mean, through with my church, we have been once a month doing a meal at the homeless
Mhm.
shelter, and I'll tell you, it has really been a gift
That's
to be
excellent.
able to interact with the people who, through different unfortunate circumstances, may be there, but many times the homeless shelter, at least here, is tied into training programs that will help them move towards independence And, yes, there's a lot of work to be done, and things in society are making it perhaps more difficult um, for people to always stand on their own. And granted, there people may need counseling or other kinds of help, but yeah, I think when we help others, we're helping ourselves and the world.
I so agree. And that's what I want to do with again, back to the fear, because sometimes they're afraid. They don't want to. They say, well, I can't do that. If I do that, I don't want to stand up in front of a room. As you know, with speakers, a lot of people say that they fear speaking worse than death. Well, speaking is just the ability to take what you're doing to one person to more people, but
Mm-hmm.
help people, whatever they're doing and whatever they want to do, to be
Mm-hmm.
able to ask themselves first, how
Mm-hmm.
could I benefit if I did that? How
Right.
could I do more?
Give it a try. Give it a try. Um, y and then assess how is it going. If you first don't succeed, try again, but you might have to make some mid-course corrections. Recognize what is working, pat yourself on the back, but then make some changes, but continue pursuing it, continue under all circumstances. And
I agree. And I like what you're saying about pat yourself on the back, because it seems that there are too many people that feel that patting themselves on the back is wrong.
mm,
And it's not. Appreciating yourself first has to be
yeah,
there.
yes,
And
you do, absolutely. And I think somehow we hear that it's not good to, you don't want to boast or, necessarily let your ego run amok, but you need to appreciate and yourself. And this is where this positive feedback loop I was talking about earlier, which can build self-confidence, which can help you overcome some of the fears that you have about irrational behaviors, and give you evidence of some results. I like to call myself a catalyst for extraordinary results. Well, let's start with any results. Catalyst for results. And then,
positive
from
results.
yes, absolutely. My theme this year, every year I like a theme. And so and every year I also believe in planning. And so this year my theme is savoring joyful adventures, appreciating the joyful experiences we have, and then bring more of them in our life or in um, in other people's life. Have you asked yourself, what brings joy to my life? Because when you're joyful or enthusiastic, you get more engaged. And when you're more engaged, you can actually produce extraordinary results. Ordinary people become extraordinary when their passions are really connected to a purpose.
That connection right there, we mentioned connection before, that connection to purpose. Yes,
Mhm.
turn our purpose into actions is so powerful in everything that we do. This has been great. We got 5 more minutes. I want to just
Okay.
appreciate you so much. But as we close out this conversation, I think a remarkable conversation. I think we could go on for another hour or two talking
Oh
about some
my
of these
goodness,
things.
there's so much here. Yes.
Yes. If someone's listening right now, or if someone's listening to this on YouTube and they have that spark, that dream, they have that calling, they have a business idea, they have a
Hmm.
direction that they've been circling for years with, but
Hmm.
have not committed to it. Can you help us with what the very first step might be that you'd invite them to take this week to start
Yes.
genuinely pursuing that passionate purpose?
Well, first is sort of recognizing if there's a little spark. Okay, it doesn't have to be a blazing fire immediately, but recognize that spark and then put some attention towards it in terms of clarifying the spark is the passion, clarify the purpose, and then pursue it with a plan. A written plan is better than a non-written plan, but any plan is better than no plan. And
Well
so
said.
pursue it, even take a little baby step, surround yourself with people that can help you, and then assess progress. So it's a four-step process. Find your passion, that spark, align it with a meaningful purpose, pursue that purpose with all your heart, with all your soul, persistently until you make some progress. And when you get a sense of meaningfulness, a sense that it's your choice, a sense of some competency, and a sense of progress, those four things that align with the four-stage process, you then have intrinsic motivation. So just begin,
Just begin. Take that
start,
first step, right?
take that first step.
I
Yeah, and
love that.
and reach out. I'd love to talk to you. You can find me at tmsworld.com. Send me a message or on LinkedIn. And I also have a website called pursuitofpassionatepurpose.com, which is right in line with my book. But reach out.
Wow.
I'd love to hear what you are doing. And actually, if you do reach out to me through any of those channels, I will give you a free copy of my poster, Be a
Wow.
Sunflower. And you can print it out um, and reference it in terms of these success traits.
So what I'm hearing, Tracy, if they could just contact you, get a copy of the poster you're talking about, print it, put it on the wall, and they
Yes.
would be able to use it. Everything that sunflower stands for.
Yes. And I will also send another poster that summarizes the pursuit of passionate purpose success formula and the success strategies. And please sign up for my monthly e-newsletter, which is free. I've been doing it for 20 years, believe it or not. So if you go to tmsworld.com, you can sign up for it. And there's archives there which will give you lots and lots of helpful information. But send me a message. Let's connect.
Let's connect with Teresa. That is so wonderful. Teresa, thank you so much. I just appreciate it. And I just want to say, wow, WOW, working on wonderful.
Oh,
Wow.
I love that. Working on wonderful. This has
That's
been a
the,
wow experience, Mark.
thank you. It has. I've enjoyed so much of this, and it is working on wonderful working with you because that makes it wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Teresa, for joining us today and sharing your insight, your experience, your message about aligning purpose, people, and execution in both powerful and practical ways as it gives our audience a clear path forward, taking that next step, going ahead and making that motion, that action that you're talking about. So, for everyone listening, if this conversation with Teresa has resonated with you in any way, I encourage you to connect with her. tmsworld.com. tmsworld, WRLD.com. Find out more about her work. Get in there, get a copy of that poster. I'm going to do it.
Yes.
Love to have something like that hanging on my wall. It's a way for us to use these acronyms to make our days, our world, just a little bit better. Teresa helps leaders and organizations create real, true results through clarity, alignment, and action, which is so important. Teresa, thank you again for being such a valued guest and for helping us continue achieving unity together. We appreciate you. We look forward for staying connected with you, for
Yes.
all of everyone that listens to this, to be connected and continue that unity working together. So thank you so much, Teresa. As we close today's conversation, one thing I think becomes very, very clear. It's about real change happening when vision meets action and when people come together with purpose. That's a lot about what Teresa told us today through that full sunflower definition about taking that together with purpose and what we can do. So thank you again for being such a valuable guest, Theresa, helping everyone on this Achieving Unity Leadership System, the podcast, everyone to pick this up and take it to that next level and get a hold of Theresa. Again, tmsworld.com. Continue turning pain into purpose and disconnection into unity. This is Theresa spoke to us today. If you want to go deeper with her, connect with her, even LinkedIn. Go out there and find her on LinkedIn. She is everywhere, and there's so much that she can do for each and every one of us. Hope you took a picture of the QR codes earlier. Learn more about what she can do. If you didn't, this full podcast will be on YouTube. Close of Business Friday, Saturday morning when you've relaxed a little bit, you want to listen to it again, turn it on Saturday morning, listen to it. Give us feedback. We would love to hear what you have to say. Connect with us. If Achieving Unity resonates with you, follow that feeling. It's the one that can work together, all of us, building with Theresa, for yourself, with me. Let's grow together, one step at a time. So until next time, let us continue to transform that complexity into execution, that chaos into connection, and our purposes into action. Let us continue achieving unity, one conversation at a time. And I hope you remember my phone number, 303-FOCUSED, 303-362-8733. Love to hear from you. Love to talk with you because we can stay focused in the 5-step process, focused on listening and dialogue, writing it down, breaking it down, reviewing its dependencies, and getting it done. It's about harnessing that power of encouraging, inspiring, and including others in building better businesses, better lives, and a better world. Theresa, again, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. That's Theresa Szczurek, tmsworld.com. Check with her. Again, I am Mark Intrican with the Achieving Unity Leadership System, reminding you that life is truly what we make it. As Theresa said earlier, it's a choice. It's in choosing. So life is truly what we make it. So let us help everyone around us feel seen, feel heard, and supported in everyday moments that truly matter and make life awesome together. Again, thank you all. Thank you, Theresa, for your message, helping us understand that when leaders align purpose, people, and execution, results follow. And Theresa, you help make that alignment real, practical, and achievable. Do you have any last words you want to say before we close?
Oh, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. And yeah, it's the pursuit of passionate purpose, as well as the attainment of the goal and the connections along the way that bring the real meaning and satisfaction to life. So see you at tmsworld.com.
Please do. Please go out there. Hope to see all of you again next week, also with our next step in remembering unity is not a soft skill. It is a leadership discipline for all of us. Till then, cheers.